I have a confession to make. I was terrible at Sekiro. In fact, I hated it. I hated it so much that I deleted it the first time I played it. The gameplay, the mechanics, the concept, none of it clicked for me. And honestly, I had given up. You see, Elden Ring was my first Soulsborne game. I spent hundreds of hours learning that when a giant sword swings at you, you roll away. I learned that if a boss gets too hard, you go explore, level up, find better equipment, and come back stronger. But Sekiro, Sekiro doesn't care about your levels, and it certainly doesn't want you to rule. For me, it felt unnatural. It was a complete violation of the muscle memory I had built in Elden Ring. I felt helpless, weak, and I was unsettled. But then, more than a year later, something inside me wanted to go back. A nagging feeling that I had left a challenge unanswered. I wanted to give it another chance, and so I did. And that second attempt wasn't just a gaming moment, it was a life changing lesson for me. In this video, I want to share my journey of how I learned to tackle new things and why I realized that it is okay for things to not click the first time. Let's first look at what was actually happening. Why did I quit the first time? And why do we quit when things get hard? To understand this, we have to look at how the mind perceives struggle. Struggle is not just an emotion, it is a biological alarm system. Your body signals you that something's not right. Our brains are designed for efficiency. They crave the path of least resistance. When you play a game you know or do a task you are good at, your brain is cruising on a path it has already driven on countless times before. If you have driven a car on a highway, you would realize that the faster we go, the more the car sticks to the road and feels smooth to drive. This is similar to how our brain reacts to familiarity. But when you load up Sekiro, your brain isn't on a highway. You are in a dense jungle with a machete. Every time you try to dodge instead of deflect, your brain is unsettled by this new response. It goes haywire, honestly speaking. This is called cognitive dissonance. It's the mental discomfort experienced by a person who holds two or more contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values. My belief was dodging keeps me safe, but Sekiro's reality was dodging will get you killed. And because I couldn't reconcile these two things immediately, my brain did what it evolved to do. It tried to conserve energy. It told me to quit. It told me that the game was bad or unfair just to protect my ego from the reality that I simply hadn't learned the new language yet. And it wasn't just the combat, it was the systems. In every other RPG I had played, if I hit a wall, I had a safety net, which was the grind. If a boss in Elden Ring was too strong, I could go farm runes. I could pump 10 points into vigor, or I could switch from a sword to a spell, or put on heavier armor. I could mathematically outscale the problem. But Sekiro stripped me naked. I opened the menu and there were no stats, no strength, no dexterity, no intelligence. Experience didn't give me more damage, it just unlocked moves I had to actually learn how to use. To get more health, I couldn't just farm enemies, I had to hunt down prayer beads by beating mini bosses. And to get more attack power, I had to defeat main bosses. There were no new swords to find, no armor sets to defend myself. I was stuck with the same sword, the same health bar, and the same orange coat. The game was screaming a message I was not ready to hear. Wolf is not going to level up. You have to level up. There was no way to over level the challenge. The only way forward was through. And that lack of control, that inability to fix the difficulty with numbers, is exactly why I struggled. But here is the beauty of the human mind it is plastic. There is a concept in neuroscience called neuroplasticity. It is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. When I first played Sekiro, the neural pathway for deflecting was a dirt road. It was slow and overgrown and terrible to drive on. On the other hand, the pathway for dodging was a smooth highway. Every time I panicked and hit the dodge button, I was just reinforcing the old highway. That struggle, that frustration is actually the feeling of your brain creating the new pathway. It feels like repeated failure, but it is actually the brain rewiring itself. In the game, Ishin Ashina tells us that hesitation is defeat. And biologically, he is right. Hesitation happens when the signal in your brain gets lost between the old habit and the new requirement. The only way to stop hesitating is to pave the road. And the only way to pave the road is to stand there, take the hits, and press the button again and again and again. For me, the click didn't happen in the first hour. And honestly, it took a while. Although I am still pretty early in my journey of Sekiro, I no longer feel the struggle. I have stopped trying to play Elden Ring, I have stopped trying to play Dark Souls. Instead, I adapted to the rhythm of Sekiro. I stopped looking at my health bar and I started looking at the sparks from the deflect. All I know now is aggression with timed deflection. This is what psychologists call the flow state. It is that moment where the difficulty of the task perfectly matches your skill level. You cannot enter the flow state without passing through the struggle state first. You have to be willing to be bad at it so you can eventually become a master of it. I hated Sekiro because I was addicted to the feeling of being good at games. I had to learn to fall in love with the process of becoming good. And if you're struggling with a game, a new job, or a new skill, and you feel like quitting, remember my first playthrough of Sekiro. Remember that the frustration you feel isn't a sign that you aren't cut out for it. It is simply the sign of your brain rewiring itself. It is okay to put the controller down. It is okay to take a break. But don't delete the game. Don't delete the game. Because what you desire is coming. And trust me, the view from the other side of struggle is worth every single death. And I'm assuming that you, watching this video, are between the ages of 18 and 30 and are trying to figure out your life. We are all going through some or the other thing. Someone might have come out of a breakup. Some of you might have been seriously ill. Some of you might have to quit school to support your family. And many more hidden struggles. But I hope that this video gave you some inspiration and made your heart lighter. For I cannot imagine or comprehend your struggles and you cannot of mine. The best we can do is feel free to share it in the comments. Doesn't matter if it receives a reply or not, but sometimes just writing your heart out makes you feel better. And I would be grateful that my channel can be such a place for people to rest for a while. With that, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.